The alarm blared at 5 a.m., cutting through the silence of Kabir's small room. He cracked open one eye, saw the time, and let out a deep sigh. He had promised himself, just last night, that he'd wake up early, get a head start on studying before work. But as the cold morning air hit his face, that familiar whisper started in his mind. Just 5 more minutes. 5 minutes stretched into 30, and by the time he finally dragged himself out of bed, he was already running late. Another day, another broken promise, another start fueled by excuses. Kabir worked in a small repair shop, but he dreamed of being a mechanical engineer. He had a passion for machines, a deep fascination with how every single part, every gear and bolt, had a specific purpose, all fitting together to create something powerful. But life, as it often does, had other plans. His family was struggling just to make ends meet, and the thought of studying after a long, exhausting day at the shop felt like trying to climb a mountain. Every time he considered giving his dreams another shot, the excuses would build a wall around him. "I'm just too tired," he'd tell himself, or "I don't have enough time." Day after day, these excuses kept him trapped in the same monotonous routine. One evening, he was hunched over a customer's motorbike, his hands stained with grease, when the owner struck up a conversation. "You really seem to know your way around an engine," the man said, impressed. "Why aren't you working at a bigger place?" Kabir managed a faint, weary smile. "Maybe someday," he replied, the words tasting like a lie. The man looked at him, his gaze steady. "Someday is just another word for never, son. If you really want something, you have to stop making excuses." Those words hit Kabir harder than any physical blow. They echoed in his mind long after the customer left. That night, sleep was a stranger. He just lay there, thinking about all the excuses he had built his life around: too tired, too poor, too busy. He had a sudden, stark realization. Not a single one of those excuses had ever improved his situation. They had only kept him stuck. The next morning, something inside him shifted. He made a decision, a firm, unbreakable one. No more excuses. He was going to find a way. No matter what. He woke up before the sun, forced himself out of his warm bed, and blew the dust off his old textbooks. It wasn't easy. Not at all. At first, his mind was a fog. He could barely focus, and his body screamed in protest from the previous day's labor. But in those moments of weakness, he reminded himself why he had started. Every single page he managed to turn felt like a small, hard-won victory. He started carrying his books to the shop, using his lunch breaks to study while others rested. When his colleagues clocked out, he often stayed a little longer, cleaning up or organizing, his mind replaying formulas and theories. His friends started to notice the change. "Kabir, what are you doing to yourself?" one of them asked, concerned. "You're going to burn out working this hard." Kabir just smiled, a real smile this time. "I've wasted enough time making excuses," he replied. "Now, I'm making progress." Of course, the journey was far from perfect. There were days when pure exhaustion was a siren, luring him back to his old ways, tempting him to just quit. There were nights he'd come home so tired that just keeping his eyes open felt like a monumental battle. But then he would hear the man's voice in his head: "Someday is never." And he would push through. Weeks turned into months, and slowly, his relentless effort began to pay off. Complex concepts that once seemed impossible started to click into place. He felt confident enough to apply for night classes to prepare for the engineering entrance exam. His teacher, seeing his unwavering dedication, pulled him aside one day. "You've got real potential, Kabir," he said. "Just don't stop now." But then, just as the exams were getting close, a new obstacle appeared. His boss called him into the office. "Kabir, I need you to work extra shifts this month," he said. The request made Kabir's heart sink. The extra hours meant more money, which his family desperately needed, but it also meant sacrificing precious study time. That night, he sat at his small desk, torn between his responsibilities and his ambition. His mother, sensing his turmoil, quietly entered his room. "What's wrong?" she asked. He explained everything, fully expecting her to tell him to focus on work, to be practical. Instead, She placed a gentle hand on his shoulder and said softly, "Son, we've managed with less before. Don't let your dreams wait any longer. You always take care of us. Now, it's time to take care of yourself." Her words were the permission he didn't know he needed. They gave him the strength to talk to his boss, to explain his situation, and to his surprise, his boss agreed to adjust his hours. "You've earned it," the man said. "I've seen how hard you work." For the first time, Kabir understood a profound truth. Discipline earns opportunities that excuses can never provide. Finally, the day of the exam arrived. Sitting in the massive hall, a wave of nervousness washed over him. But underneath it was a bedrock of determination. The paper was tough. At one point, staring at a question he couldn't immediately solve, the old urge to give up flickered. But then, he remembered the cold mornings, the sleepless nights, his mother's encouraging words. "No excuses," he whispered to himself. And he picked up his pen and kept writing, right until the very last minute. Weeks later, the results were out. Kabir's heart hammered against his ribs as he scanned the list for his name. And there it was, Ayad Pasaid. He couldn't believe his eyes. He sprinted home, bursting through the door, shouting, "Ma, I did it! I did it!" His mother hugged him, tears of pride streaming down her face. That moment wasn't just about passing an exam. It was proof that with enough effort, you can conquer the excuses that hold you back. Years passed. Kabir became a successful mechanical engineer, working for a company he had once only dreamed of. His journey was never easy. There were still challenges, still moments of self-doubt. But he faced them all with his new mantra: no excuses. When younger colleagues would ask him for the secret to his success, he'd say, "I stopped waiting for the perfect time and just started doing the right thing." You'll never feel 100% ready. You just have to start, and you learn and adjust along the way. One day, he revisited his old repair shop. The familiar smell of oil and grease instantly brought him back. And there was the same man who had changed his life, still fixing a bike. Kabir smiled. "You are right," he said. "Someday never comes. I started, and it changed everything." The old man looked up and grinned. "I knew you would. People who stop making excuses always find their way, no matter how hard the path gets." That evening, looking out his office window at the city lights, Kabir reflected on his journey. He realized that everyone has reasons to quit. Not enough time, not enough money, not enough energy. But excuses don't build dreams, actions do. Success isn't for those who wait for perfect conditions. It's for those who take what they have and make the most of it. He often shared his story, telling people, excuses sound best to the person who is making them. You can have progress, or you can have excuses. You can't have both. If you want something, you have to fight for it. Especially when it's inconvenient. Especially when it hurts. Because every time you tell yourself, no excuses, you take one more step toward the life you truly want. As he was leaving work, he saw a young intern, looking frustrated, still hunched over a design. "Sir," the boy said, "I think I'll just try again tomorrow." Kabir smiled, a knowing, gentle smile. "Tomorrow is the best friend of excuses," he said. "Start now." The boy nodded, his expression changing. Kabir walked away, remembering his own beginning. He smiled to himself and whispered, "No excuses." Because those two simple words had changed his life forever, and he knew with absolute certainty they could change anyone's. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more content that inspires you to take action. See you in the next one.